It's good, huh? It is very good. Welcome back to another beautiful day here at the South Texas Skillet. So I have been working in my classroom trying to get it ready for the new school year. So we need to get a quick dinner on the stove, and it needs to be something that's done in under 30 minutes. So today we are kind of coming up with something new. I'm going to call it a ground beef pasta skillet because I don't really have a name for it. But it's going to be simple and it's going to be delicious, and I know you're going to love it. All right, let's get started. So I have Abby here helping me today. She's going to dice up an onion and she's going to mince the garlic. If she needs any help, she's going to ask, but she's done it before, so I think she's going to be okay. I am going to dice up a green bell pepper. You can use a red one if you want to, and a jalapeno. Jalapeno is optional. All right, I'm going to just cut off the ends. And everything is getting diced today except for that garlic. It will be minced.
That got cut a bit weird.
That's okay. I do like to cut the tops of my bell peppers so nothing goes to waste.
This one has a bunch of juice.
It does.
It's attacking.
Get it all peeled up and Daddy will take it. The onion is a little bit hot, spicy. All right, we're gonna get this rinsed off and we'll be right back.
It's still kind of green.
It's okay, it'll work.
Okay.
Still good. You know how you have green onions?
Yeah.
It's just a young onion, so it's still good. You can still use it.
It's just the baby.
Just a baby. All right, so when I do the jalapeno, I am taking the seeds and the membranes out. I'm gonna cut it in half first. I definitely don't want to put this in the wrong bowl, so I'm gonna move my compost bowl close to me. And I just take a spoon and scoop out the insides. If you wanted to use gloves for this, you can, but I'm fine. Watch your thumb. Your thumb was really close to that knife. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take these and cut them in half, probably into thirds. and then just dice them up. And make sure you wash your hands really well after dicing your jalapenos. That way you don't accidentally go touch your eye with jalapeno juice on your hands. You good?
Yep.
All right, and you're gonna put that in there. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick, Abby, but keep going, okay? That's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna do the garlic. You can work on that onion. So the more you can get your kids in the kitchen at a young age, the better it is for them. Then when they're grown, they already know how to do things.
Wash my hands.
It's all right. Do the other onion first. So, off camera, my husband is helping guide her with her knife skills. So, we do believe that learning in the kitchen is a good thing. The earlier you learn how to use a knife, the better you're going to be. And we're still learning. But that doesn't stop us, huh, Abby? Nope.
Kind of.
Good.
I think it's easier because I wash my eyes now.
It doesn't sting. So the onions we have right now, they're very strong. And so it does hurt our eyes. It kind of makes us tear up, huh, Abby? And so it makes it harder to cut when your eyes are tearing. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands again because I have garlic. All right, first things first, we're gonna bring a large pot of water to boil. This is for our pasta. And by the time the water is done boiling, by the time the water comes up to boil and we cook our pasta, our sauce should be done. So Abby's gonna get us started on the sauce. We're gonna turn this on to about a medium-low heat, and she's gonna add in our ground beef.
This is cool.
It just came out of the fridge.
How do I
Yeah,
use this?
yeah. There you go. I'll take this. All right, she's gonna break that up into little crumbles, and it's gonna cook until it's gray.
This is fun.
It is fun, huh?
Yeah.
So our ground meat is 80-20, so we didn't have to put any oil in the pan. If you use a leaner ground meat, you're gonna wanna add some oil before you put the meat in the pan. That way it doesn't stick. All right, now we're just gonna let it cook, Abby.
Okay.
So we'll take a little break, and then in about 2 minutes, you can stir it.
Good.
Yeah. So you see that big block of red stuff?
Yeah.
Over, get farther? Yep. All that, you need to get it more on the heat. There you go.
Whoa.
So the meat is almost done cooking. I'm just gonna drain off some of this fat. I like to put it in a bowl. If I need any more fat in the middle, I can always use this instead of grabbing butter or oil or anything else. And it's okay to leave a little bit of this fat in the bottom because we're gonna need something in there when we cook the vegetables. We don't need a whole lot, but we do need something so it doesn't start to stick. So we're gonna season this with salt and pepper and garlic powder and onion powder. I am gonna turn the meat back on. So it's been drained, but let's turn it back on. And you know I don't measure my spices, so it's about a tablespoon or two of the garlic powder and the onion powder, about a teaspoon or two of the salt, and a half of a teaspoon or so of the pepper. All right, Abby, you can add salt and pepper. Do like 2 pretty big pinches. You need salt. I would do more than that. Maybe 1 more, a big one. I like to hold it with my other hand close to it so I don't make as much of a mess. There you go.
How much?
Half of that, like less. That's good. Let's try that. There you go. Okay, and then you do maybe a pinch or 2 of the pepper. All right, go ahead.
How much?
It's more than that. 1 more of those. Perfect. All right. You want to mix it?
Sure.
Okay. So Abby's gonna get that mixed up. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. All right. What do you think?
There's just some clumps.
That's okay, they'll come out. Perfect. Okay, you see the onions and stuff?
Yeah.
You can put that whole bowl in there.
Okay.
There you go. And then let me get it out because it might have jalapeno in it. And that jalapeno I think is a bit spicy. Okay. Now mix that up for me. All right, and so we're gonna let this cook until the vegetables soften. It should take about 2 to 3 minutes. If you need to add more fat to it, you can add the grease that we removed, or you can add some butter. All right, so the peppers and the onion are cooked. Abby's gonna add in the garlic, and you might need to use that spoon to scrape it in. I'm gonna get all that good garlic out. There you go. Perfect. She's gonna cook this for about 30 seconds and then we'll add in some other stuff. Okay.
There we go.
All right, so she's gonna add in a can of diced tomatoes. Careful so you don't cut yourself. And then she's also gonna add in some tomato sauce. Okay, and this is Mexican oregano. We're just going to add some in. So to me, it looks like it needs a little bit of liquid to it, so we're going to add some chicken broth. I think I have some in the fridge, Abby. So we're going to add a little bit of the broth.
That's lunch.
That's about 1.5 cups. Abby's going to get this mixed up really well, and then we're going to let it simmer until our pasta is done. It hasn't even came up to a boil yet, so we're doing really good. Once it simmers for a while, we're going to taste it for seasoning and see if it needs any more salt or pepper or any other seasonings. So our water has came up to a boil. I'm going to add in quite a bit of salt. Anytime you cook pasta, you want it to be done in heavily salted water. So we're using bow tie pasta today, and I'm going to use the whole package. This is a 16-ounce package. All right, and you do want to make sure you give this a nice stir as you put it in the water. It helps it from sticking together. And then once it's done cooking, our sauce should be done, and we can put everything together. You can taste this and see if it needs any more salt. And we're going to top this with some cheese. So we need cheddar cheese and Monterey Jack cheese. I already have cheddar shredded, so Abby is going to shred up some Monterey Jack for us. So we like to shred our own cheese because if you buy the store-bought shredded cheese, it does not melt as well. They have like a cellulose on the cheese. And we find that a lot of times it kind of holds its shape, it doesn't melt well, it's kind of a weird consistency, so we tend to shred our own. We do also feel like it saves money to buy the block cheese and to shred it however you need it, or in the case of the Monterey Jack, we shred what we want, and then the rest we'll cut up and we'll use that for snacking on throughout the week. So as Abby is shredding the cheese, I'm going to go ahead and put our pasta into the sauce. I like to just take one of these scoops, just a wire basket scoop, and drain our pasta slightly and move it into our sauce. I do that with spaghetti or dishes like this, sometimes even macaroni. It is okay if some of that pasta water gets into your sauce. It just adds starch that really just helps cause the sauce to stick to your pasta. Now, a lot of times you just see me cooking, but behind the scenes, I often have help. So whether it's Abby shredding cheese or my husband doing a lot of the knife work, it is not always me doing all of the cooking. There's some times where I have all of the kids in here with me. It gets a little hectic then. That's usually when we're baking some sort of dessert. That's their favorite to help with. But I have been pulling the kids in a lot more lately now that they're getting older. And they help me with cooking dinner. It really is important to me that they know how to cook food. at a young age, that is fine. I learned how to cook when I was about 12 years old. I did do a lot of cooking for my family. And so I do think it's very important for children to learn how to cook, even if they're not doing the main meals for their family. I had to when I was younger out of necessity because my parents, my mom was going to nursing school. My dad worked in the oil field, so that means it was long hours. And a lot of the meals that I knew how to cook then were not very complex. They were very simple. And it was in the 90s, so it was a lot of hamburger helper and shake and bake and things like that. But I was still able to help feed my family at such a young age. And I think that's an important thing for my children to learn how to do as well. All right, so this is done. We're just gonna top it with some cheese, and then we'll put a lid on it to let the cheese melt. And we're probably gonna serve it out of this pot. So it's gonna be, I guess, a 2-pot meal since we had a pot for the pasta.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so let's start with the cheddar first.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna start with some cheddar cheese, and Abby's just gonna sprinkle it over the top. All of our dogs are in here, so that's okay. So just sprinkle it over the top and try to get all the way to the edges. It's really important that you get all the way to the edges so everybody gets some of that cheese topping. And you want it nice and mixed, or not mixed, but nice and covered. Perfect. And then we're gonna take that Monterey Jack and we're gonna do the same thing. Good job, Abby. That's all right.
That should be good.
That should be good. You can add a little bit more if you want to. Doesn't matter. We'll use it up, huh?
Yeah.
All right, and so now what you're gonna do before you take a snack, she likes to eat the cheese as a snack. That's fine. You're gonna have to put the lid on.
Okay.
All right. All right, so she's gonna put the lid on. We're gonna let that cheese melt. Once it melts, everything's gonna be done. And she's gonna eat her snack. Was it good?
Mm-hmm.
Give it a thumbs up. We're gonna have this with some steamed broccoli tonight, and Abby and I are gonna try this for the very first time. We have never had this before, so let's see what it tastes like.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ah.
Mmm.
It's good, huh? It is very good. All right. I think that your family is gonna like this. What do you think, Abby? They're gonna like it? It's really good. If you would like a good dessert to pair this with, I'm gonna link one for you right here. And if you could please give us a like and a subscribe, that would really help our channel grow, and we would really appreciate it.
Like this with your finger. Yep.
Here, I want a picture of you stirring.
Okay.
There you go, just like that.
There you go. Good job.
I think one of the dogs farted.
All right, so we do need to top this with some cheese, and it calls bleh, bleh.
Blech.
And we're gonna for Monterey Jack cheese. Whatever's left, we'll cut it up into cubes or slices.
Oh my goodness. My nose tricked me again. Sorry about that.
All right, and then I'm going to let you do that, Abby.
Taste.
Taste test. Always a taste test.
Okay.